Hello, thanks for spending some time with me today. In this episode, we're going to rescue an Eagle Talon. Surprise, surprise. This is actually something that hasn't been started for over 10 years, I've been told, and it won't start right now. So I have to go see what's going on with it. It's a little bit away, so I got some travel time here to go check it out. But basically, I'm going to go see it, evaluate it quickly. Basically, if the timing belt is okay, then I'm going to take it home and see what I can do with it. This car has a very interesting story. I'll get the guy to, when we go see it, to tell a little bit of the story. But basically, his daughter had it. I don't know how many years he had it. I don't know how many owners it's had. But he's really interested in driving the car and having some fun with it. And because it won't start, that's the first thing we got to do is get it running, and then he's going to decide what he does with it. It's a 1991 Eagle Talon 5-speed all-wheel drive, turbo, obviously, and we're going to have some fun just reviving it, basically, and see what's going on, troubleshoot it, and have some fun. But the first thing we got to do is get it home. A legitimate, well, an internet legitimate barn find. This car has been put in storage, cold storage too, and we've got a very cold climate because we're in Canada in the winter, so it's been exposed to some elements to some degree inside. Whether it's a barn, I don't know, but we know the internet classifies this as a barn find because it's been sitting there for over 10 years. It was parked running apparently, but it has not ran since, and he tried to start it. I was hoping he didn't try to start it in case things were seized up, but it sounds like it turned over. I don't know how the fuel is or anything or what's wrong with it, but he said it won't start. He found me basically and said, hey, I wouldn't mind if you could give this a try and see what's going on with it. So I'm going to go look at it, do an assessment. If it's okay to maybe go further with, then we're going to bring it home and start troubleshooting to see what's going on, and you can follow me with that. First thing I want to do though is test to see if or check to see if the timing belt has been broke by chance because it's sitting and he tried starting it. That would be awful, and I'll just take the timing cover on that. But let's get going and go have a look at it and see what's up and what it is. This guy, he is really interesting too. It's on a farm, and it was his dad's farm and his farm. He's got a pilot license. His dad has a pilot license. He flew spray planes way back. He's got a couple planes that I'm going to probably look around and look at that as well. He's an aeronautic engineer as well. That was his career on top of farming, and he's had quite a full life. And it's interesting because I know back in the day, a lot of pilots, particularly people in the fighter pilots, and that I know really loved Eagle Talons, and I don't know if it's to do with the way the cockpit was in the first generation or not, but it's really interesting that it seems to attract these type of people. I myself is a real technical guy. That was my career basically, and that's why I love these cars too. It was not just mechanical, but all the technical electronics and stuff that was kind of I won't call it ahead of its time, but kind of a breakthrough on what you could do with electronics and mechanics together to make cars what they can become and what they have become in today's world. That I consider these cars one of the beginning and one of the surprises. And if you weren't into that, and you come from and were dead set carburetors and all those things, yeah, you had slower cars, even though they were V8s, to be honest. So that's what made these cars fast. So it's interesting that this guy has that background, and I think that's the appeal. There might be more to the story because he said it was his daughter's. Maybe there's something there too that he likes or wants to get going because his daughter had it and he wants to have some fun with it. But he's got a lot of projects on the go apparently too, with some planes and truck restoration and that, and maybe we'll touch on that as well. But look forward to actually personally meeting him. We've talked on the phone a bit, did some messaging a little bit, and we're going to meet for the first day and have a look at things and go from there. He's all ready to trailer to me if I give it the go-ahead after seeing it today. So I have a feeling I'll be taking it home. I had to sort out a lot of space in my surroundings. I was all ready for winter projects. Wasn't going to take any more in, but with the story and the interest and the proximity of this car, I thought, why not? Let's have a look. Let's see if I can make some space, which I did, and we're going to go from there. So come on and let's have a look at this car right now. Look at it. There it is. And that's the shed, shop, barn, whatever you call it, in. He's going to show me where it was sitting, actually. Looks like it needs a little work, but definitely curious. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good, thank you.
What do you know about this car? Like, I like the story you started with about your daughter.
Yeah.
So where did, do you know how many owners it's had or anything like that?
No, not for sure. So in 97, she would have been 20.
Right.
So about then, maybe a year earlier, 97, she started university in Saskatoon. Her mother sent her out with a virtually brand new GM truck, and she traded it in on this thing. So she, about somewhere around 2000, so it would have been about 10 years old, she got a hold of this vehicle, and she drove it. And she drove it for, I'm guessing, maybe 5 years, and she didn't know how to maintain it. And you know, they're fairly high maintenance with their turbo and all. She blew the engine on it.
Just curious, when it blew the engine, what happened? Do you even know what happened? Did the head gasket go, or what?
I don't know.
You don't even know. Okay.
I gave her all the records. She lost them. I have no idea what all was done to it.
Okay.
And then she went out to BC with it, and the transaxle went on it, up in the mountains somewhere. And she called me, and I said, "Well, just take it, get the tow truck to take it somewhere, and we'll figure out what I'm going to do with it." And because I like the little car so much, I got the tow truck, take it down to the CN yard site. They loaded it on a train and they brought it into Regina, and I picked it up from Regina and brought it home. And so that would have been maybe 2003 or 4, I'm guessing. Wouldn't have been more than 5, because 6 I was driving it, and I drove it for a couple of years.
Okay.
And so I called up in 2004. I called up SGI and I said, "Would you guys have a transmission for one of these things?" "Yeah, we do." Amazing.
And you got lucky, because
I got really
the
lucky.
90 transmission is actually different than the 91s. A 91 you can get to work, but they're actually unique too.
I got it to work.
So,
it was a later one. I got it.
oh,
to
you
work.
got it later. Okay, good
And
for
I
you.
got it to work.
Yeah, it's a little different, but you can get them to work, and you did it. So
And I
good
did
for
it.
you.
Yep. And then I drove
Good
it for
for
a couple of years, and that's it. It's got 240 some thousand kilometers on it. So it's
The one thing that you got going for you is most of these were not left stock, and people didn't know what they were doing, and they modified them, and they destroyed them, and they got destroyed. Do you even have that extra transmission, just in case you ever need? Because you can't buy parts anymore for these
I
transmissions.
didn't keep it. It was in pieces. It fell apart in pieces. I remember that.
Oh, okay.
And I
oh boy.
I just threw it out like the bell. What would you call it? The bell housing?
Bell housing.
Whatever that the part is that bolts on. It was cracked. I don't know what she did.
Oh wow.
To it. Yeah, it was all. It came back. It came out in aluminum pieces.
And these aren't. I know these aren't the stock wheels. These are the wheels that a front-wheel drive actually had.
Yep.
So the stock wheels are gone somewhere.
Nope, I've got them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I got the original wheels. These are my winter tires, and I got a wreck out behind. I'm going to show it to you.
Okay. Oh.
And the tires came with it, and I put my winter tires on, and so my summer tires are parked in the shed over there.
And your plan, as we were talking, is to first just get her running.
Get her running.
Right.
Yep. Get her all tuned up and get her running real nice. And I'm thinking a paint job, because I'm the kind of guy who doesn't like to drive around something that looks bad.
Yeah, you don't strike me. You strike me as wanting to.
Yeah. If I'm going to drive it, it's got to look nice. So
yeah.
A paint job, which like all this stuff.
Yeah, all the moldings and stuff.
Moldings all have to be taken off, painted. We painted the front area here. It ended up getting patched with caulking, so it has to be properly welded with plastic and then repainted. And
oh, okay.
I like this fish scale look, but I don't know if the body shops can do that anymore or not.
I don't know if you can. You can't unless somebody's now doing them again. But Chrysler discontinued those stickers many years, like decades ago now.
Yeah.
So most you'll see are just painted all, but
Yep.
You know, if you want it to be like once you get to that point, we'll talk. But if you want just a full like a stock restoration or something, we can do that. Or if you want a different look or modification, like whatever you're thinking or whatever we talk about.
I'm an original guy. I like things to be original. I have no intention to modify anything that I can help. If I can get the original parts, I'll go that route. If I can't, then I'll accept a substitute.
Right.
So
my recommendation would be exactly like, because you have it all stock still.
Yeah.
And you can't find stock ones, and people want those if you ever are selling it, that I would totally leave it
That's
stock.
my plan. So we'll do stock on everything. If we can do fish scale, we will. If we can't, then they'll have to.
Well, you never know. Wait, the stripe shop actually in Regina can make anything like that too.
I suppose. I'm sure.
Yeah, I've had them make. They can't do it anymore because of the chemicals now against the law that they made. They used to make these for me, but now they can't make them anymore.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so I got these, but I think there's somebody in the States now making them somewhere too. But this was never there. Like that was never.
There was never anything there?
This was just an empty hole.
Oh, really? And that was where we put a patch.
Okay.
And
so it's got some Bondo in there, you think?
I imagine so. I imagine it's got a welded patch and then some Bondo.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're pretty normal to get in rust here on both sides. It's pretty normal. A lot of people have had to cut them out and put a new piece in there. That's pretty standard.
I think that's what we did here too. There's a spot on the other side right down there too.
See, this is a good sign. These normally rust right out right there. So that's actually a pretty good sign.
I know, it's actually not bad.
No.
In many ways, if you want to do a full restoration, like I see some of yours, $40,000 car, then you'd want to be taking everything apart.
Well, that was the most extreme you'll ever see anybody do, and that was why it sold what it did, right? Because it also was highly modified too. But I mean, it took me, I'm guessing 1,500 hours to be honest to do it. It ended up being it was fun to do. It was nice to do, and then I realized that I was too scared to drive it. It was just, I was scared to get a little mark on it.
I know.
So
yeah, because you knew you were going to sell it, so you didn't want it to.
Well, I didn't when I started. It's just, I realized I'm not going to drive this car, and I like driving cars. So that's what they're for. So I thought someone else can appreciate this and set it and look at it and stare at it.
Everything seems to be like it was running reasonably well. It was running excellent, actually.
When you parked it, did you do any any storage issues at all?
I started it up every year and moved it around, and then it wouldn't start.
So how many years ago was that?
It was licensed last license in 2006.
2006.
Went last license, and then I've been moving it around. It's been in different buildings, and then maybe I'm guessing about 10 years ago, it wouldn't start anymore. And
so it hasn't been on the road for 16 years, but you started. So when was the last year you started it, do you think?
I'm thinking it was about 2012 or 13, something like that I moved it, started it. And,
okay, so it's the 10 years that it hasn't been started then.
Yep, that's my guess. That's my guess.
Wow.
I put a battery in it.
That was a question too, like what all, if you had a battery and stuff, so.
Yeah. Here's what it does.
Oh, it's galloping too.
It sounds to me like it's getting some fuel, but not enough.
So what I'm going to do, this is my whole assessment of the car before I know I'm bringing it back home.
Yes.
Unless you've already done it, I want to take this timing belt cover off, just in case it's sitting that when you turned it over it broke.
Yeah.
If it broke,
you're
gonna have bent valves.
Uh-oh.
And it's really easy to take off, so I'll take it off. Okay. All right, good news. If that was loose, we'd be in trouble, so.
Yep. It's a brand new timing belt right over there.
This is all stock. The seat covers, does that mean the seats are kind of
I think so.
trash?
I think they're leather seats. That's the other thing that I would get done is the leather.
Oh, you've got all the cardboard pieces. Those are I can make those, but you've got them.
Yeah, they got some oil soaking.
I make them out of some hardboard anyway, and I actually copy that same sticker. See, there's bolts in here. Those are normally clips, but...
Yeah, well, that's what the farmer did to get it to work.
Yeah. Oh, that's
not normal. Lots of those. Lots of that stuff around.
Oh, okay.
to hold it on.
Okay.
Look at that. Probably not normal.
Well,
This.
it definitely gets, on the corn course, it'll definitely get points off, but. So there is, I mean, it's all money, but if you ever want that stuff fixed, there's Fiber Renew in Regina, can fix all that stuff. Does awesome work. If you ever watch any of my videos, you can see some of the work he's done. It's just amazing what they can do.
Wow.
Like they'll even, Fiber Renew, the first thing I ever got them to do was in my 90 Talon, like 25 years ago probably now.
Yeah.
There was a crack here, and it cracked up from weather or whatever.
Sure. Sun.
Yeah, just over time.
Yeah.
And I had them fix it. And I thought it would just be a flat spot. You know, I'd still be looking at it, but it got rid of the crack. He took the time to cut to make all the grooves line up.
Oh my God.
Unless,
that's almost a microscopic.
Unless you're me and know it was there, no one even sees it. It's crazy how, I mean, they aren't cheap, but they can make it perfect again. I just looked underneath, and yeah, you don't have any rust issues underneath at all.
No,
so
not really. Here's
nice.
the rust area too, but it kind of, I mean, it would have to be cut out. It kind of looks like surface, but I'm sure it'd have to be fixed up properly. Normally it's underneath, eh?
Actually, it's not. You're actually not too bad.
No,
normally I feel in there, and it's like I can push it, like right in there, it just gets crazy, but it's solid. So this is.
It's been a Saskatchewan car all its life, except for a stint out in BC for not very long.
Which would have been nothing.
Yeah. No, a year or two maybe at most.
Yeah. I don't know exactly the first thing I'll do, but it's probably related to fuel and that. I might even take a bore scope down and stuff, have a look at down in the cylinder, just look around in that. And if we do get it running, just so you can drive it to we're gonna have to do the timing belt. But first we'll get it running to make sure we get it running. But I highly recommend you don't use this timing, because if that timing belt goes, then whoa.
It was on my list of things to do. Then it got stored.
And I usually get like the Eider pulley and the tensioner and all that replacement. Oh, you got all that maybe here, huh?
No,
okay.
Not the Eider.
You got all the belts. That's the B belt for the bounce shaft, and
I got the gaskets kits.
Yeah, alternator.
Gasket kit.
Oh wow.
Thermostat, oil filter, a couple of seals.
Okay.
Oil seals. So my list that I had for not that it matters anymore, but and I got to tell you about this. But anyway, I was going to change the oil, flush the cooling, replace the thermostat, get a wheel alignment, and okay, here's the farmer's issue. You could see what our roads are like.
Yeah.
This thing was dragging on the front. Do they always sit low on the front? Look how high that thing sits on the front.
That's pretty, well, I mean, it's tilted back right now, but that seems pretty high.
Okay, so what I did was I took the coils out. Here they are.
What did you do?
I sent them to Winnipeg, and they made me new coils that were longer. I put them in.
You're the first person I've ever known to actually make these cars higher.
Okay, because it would drag, as you can see, on the road, and I have to go back and forth.
Okay.
But they're too large a diameter, and nobody will touch the car to do an alignment on it. So I guess I got to go back.
Really?
Yeah. They're rubbing on the frame.
Okay.
So either I've got to get a new set made, or I got to go back to the old ones, put them in, and drive it the way it is.
I think, like, so is your plan, like, I don't know, do you still farm at all, or you just rent everything out?
Rent it out now.
So, but you plan on having the car here, is what you do, and drive it back and forth. So, mind you, well, I guess you'll probably be only driving it when it's not muddy.
From now on, yeah.
So you might be okay.
I might be okay. I'll just put the old springs back in.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you do finish it, like if you ended up eventually painting it and stuff, you're gonna be going slow down the road for gravel anyway and stuff. So
yeah.
I got a question. So there's a history with these cars way back from when I got mine in '90 for people that are very technically inclined, not just mechanical engineers, but into electronics like myself, and that really gravitate these cars. And you're into airplanes, and there was actually a lot of people that were in the Air Force, fighter pilots, and that really loved these cars. Like it's kind of it has a draw. It's really strange. So, what do you like about this car? That's not like it's not a 69 Camaro or a 71 Chevelle,
It's
or
unique.
you know, and yeah.
It's more unique than a Camaro. Any idiot can buy a Camaro or a Corvette for that matter.
I'm putting that in the video. I love that.
Okay, I'll qualify though that with the fact that I own a 74 Corvette and a 60 Fuelie,
Okay.
all in pieces.
Okay.
So I'm an idiot too.
Yeah.
But
well,
any idiot with enough money can buy a Corvette. Now, these are so unique, and they have
especially
such
in
great performance.
1990.
Yes,
Yes.
and such good performance. That little corner's so nice. Is that why they race them? It's the turbo, the all-wheel drive, and the suspension that's so good that why they race
Yeah,
these things?
and to put it back in 1990,
Yeah.
like I had a Fox Bunny '87 Mustang that I traded in on this in my 90, and because it just killed it. You know, I mean, the Fox Body was just raw horsepower, and it's a useless car, to be honest. People love them still, but they can't get traction. These got light to light because nobody had all-wheel drive. These kicked, like nobody could catch them.
ass.
They kicked ass.
That's why I like it.
And people couldn't understand because there were 4 cylinders. Why are they so fast? Because everyone was they had to have displacement in V8s. And it was the technology that was coming out was ahead of its time, or maybe it was the pioneer of it coming along.
Yep.
And other than the Porsche at the time, no one had all-wheel drive. And then, of course, you didn't, but we started modifying them, and then we were going to the racetracks, whether it was autocross or whatever, and we were kicking butt.
500
and people
horse.
hated us. There'd be these, people that did whatever they had with their superchargers, their blowers and stuff, and they were all happy they were doing 13 seconds, and then we're getting, low 11s and stuff like that in the mid-90s, and people hated us. SIR, our local track there, they found every reason to kick us off because we were beating up. Yeah, it was a fun time. So, yeah, they are a lot
little
of fun.
performer on stock. It's still a good performer.
It is, and with the little 5-speed it's got, and this what it does is yeah. It might be slow in, we'll call it in today's standards, but
Sure it is.
in the time it was, getting through the 80s, those cars were horrible, and then this came out, it was pretty cool. So this was sitting in here somewhere
It was.
originally?
Yeah, it was sitting right here. Looks like.
Oh, and we're going to talk about that
Looks
too.
like the excavation. The excavation might have covered up the tracks, but it sat right here.
Yeah, so this
I
is where it was
these-
sitting for over 10 years, I guess.
and,
So, yeah.
And on and off during the previous 6 years to that. Now I've got something else I want you to see here.
Okay.
And that's my my parts cart. It's just a wreck.
Is it an all-wheel drive as well?
Nope. Two-wheel.
Turbo?
Yep.
Okay.
But it's all.
What year?
The only thing I'm not sure.
Okay.
The only thing that's left on it, to my knowledge, that's any good is body parts, and you can have it if you want it.
Well, I have a few parts cars, but it's all about if there's anything we need for your car too, right? So
Yeah. And I kind of bought it because I thought, well, it's getting hard to find fenders and doors and things like that. If I'm get praying somewhere, I can.
Fenders are, so it's got the same pop-ups?
The front end is all taken apart, so all it has is doors and rear.
Because those fenders are impossible to get now.
Yeah, no, it doesn't
for
have
the
the front
pop-ups.
fenders.
Okay.
They're gone.
Yours are fine looking at them, but a lot of them are rusted out and people can't get them anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be a 90-91, one of those years. I don't know which one, but sticker's gone for the year. But
yeah, honestly, I don't know what's if there's anything much good about
it's
it.
a 91. Cruise control is there in the 91s. 90s had the cruise control over there, so
Okay.
that's how I can tell. So
91.
yeah, which is fine.
And I don't think there's any parts really that are much good in
No,
it.
she's pretty stripped. Yeah, you got a stock exhaust sitting there, which is some people actually want those. So
The one thing that it does have, and I don't know if they're possible to get anymore, is this this cooler.
oh, is that ever in prime condition? Most people have thrown these out because they put a front mount in. That's actually
That's worth some money, I think.
Well, and when we get into your car, we might need this. And I say that because with the mileage yours had, like most of them, they got rusted out and pitted so bad that they actually, when you do a leak test, they just leak around the corroded necks. You can replace the necks too, but this actually might be in pretty good condition. These actually aren't in bad shape. These are worth something still if they're good shape. So seals, this one's gone, but hatch seal, if that's any good. That's another one that's pretty hard to get in good condition these days. Okay, I completely lost track of time when I was talking to him. I got a bunch of footage to go through and show you all his other projects. That'll come in the future, but we ran out of time. At the end of the day, it was actually starting to get dark when we finished, so we never got the car loaded up to bring it here. The spot that it's going to go in is right where the camera is right now. So I am going to get it. Obviously, he's very passionate and really wants to do something with the car, so I can't wait to see what we're going to do with it and get it going, and that will be in future episodes as well. I'm hoping to have it in a few weeks. He's just got some stuff going on, and we'll get it in, and hopefully before winter and snow flies here too, but we'll get there. I really can't wait till he gets to drive that car again and see where we take it. So to make sure you catch that, subscribe. Don't want to miss that and all the other stuff I got going on. And until then, enjoy every day and always make it right.